This is the iPhone 16 Pro Max, and today we're going to speed test it against the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold 6 to see which one comes out on top. So what is up, guys? Nick here, helping you to master your technology. Let's go ahead and begin this video with a boot up test, and this is the Z Fold 6, not the Slim Edition that's not even available in this market, just a regular. Let's go ahead and begin with a boot up in 3, 2, go, and see which one can get there first. Now, these are actually the priciest phones for each manufacturer right now. Apple iPhone 16 Pro Max, Z Fold 6. Although the Ultra, the Samsung Ultra is more competitive here. This is a foldable, this is not. This is still the highest price. And I just want to see how well a Z Fold 6 does in comparison. And you'll see the iPhone with a slight win there on the boot up over Samsung's Z Fold over there. So just a little bit of a speed boost there, nothing serious. So pretty close there overall. All right, so when we go ahead and do the unlock speed, you'll see we just have Face ID here, which is, I'm not saying it like it's not a great feature. It really is super convenient, fast, and in the display. We might even see some of the next Pixels bringing something similar to this, if rumors are true. Over here on the Samsung, though, I really like how they have the embedded fingerprint sensor here within the Z Fold 6's body, and it's in a pretty easy to reach location right there. So you just kind of go like that, and you are in. And you're in once again. This also has a face unlock right here. If I just go ahead and look, we're right in the phone, and one more time, we're right in. In addition, when you do have the phone open here, you can also face unlock from the inner camera, which is a UDC under the display. And in addition, you can still use the fingerprint, although it gets kind of wide and a little bit hard to reach there like this. I also have it set up where I have this fingerprint, so if I'm using my left hand, I can go ahead and unlock like that. So I would say unlocking speed, while similar, the Z Fold has a lot more ways to do it, and I would say it's a little faster because it can bypass the lock screen, whereas this one you have to swipe. So when it comes to just the speed of the general operating system, any iPhone now with ProMotion is kind of like the gold standard. So if you have ProMotion on your iPhone, you have the fastest feeling iPhone out there. And definitely in just general day-to-day performance, the only one that looks a little different is going to be the 60 hertz panel, but iOS is pretty efficient and smooth, and it's not really different on most of the other iPhones, just different sizes and different shapes and colors. And over here on the Z Fold 6, we actually have two displays that are 120 hertz, and Samsung displays and performance is super smooth as well these days. There is no lag whatsoever, whether you're on this home screen or if we go on here on the inner screen. The general performance here is also really good, although the feel is different because you're coming from a plastic, you're having more of a plasticky display on the inside versus a glass one on the outside. So, and you'll feel the crease a little when swiping through, but overall it's super smooth, super fast. This actually looks faster than like the new iPad mini in terms of the refresh rate of the display, while having a similar size. So yeah, in terms of general performance, both of them are going to be good there. Now this is running iOS 18.1. 18.2 is supposed to be coming probably early December, so we'll stay tuned for that. But One UI 6 is still on here. I accidentally clicked X. One UI 6 is still on here. We're not at One UI 7. We're going to have the beta here shortly, but we're still on One UI 6 over here for the speed test. All right, so here we are at the app test. Now I am going to be using the inner panel here. This is how I'm using my Z Fold 6 most of the time, so this is how I'm running the test. Let's go ahead and go into calendar, and you'll see I think the animation was slightly faster on the right. We'll go into clock. Again, a slightly faster animation on the right, so Samsung's animations looking a little faster there. That doesn't mean they always look smoother, but definitely faster. And they both have like the same swipe out mechanism as well. Let's go into calculator. Again, animation on the right. Let me actually hide this bar here, and we'll go over here to weather. And even though it looked like Samsung might have had that, it could be wrong. Even though we had this bigger display here with more information being shown, it looked a little faster. Samsung News versus Apple News. And that was faster again on the right. Let's go into following, and we're just going to go over here to some tech news. It's not exactly the same, but you've seen that Samsung seems to be loading that a little faster, and the scrolling is just way quicker on the Samsung phone, but it's really smooth on the iPhone. So either way you go, it's really, really nice. Let's go into Play Store, App Store. And again, that loaded up first there on the right. Let's go over here to games. I think the iPhone there, loading up more content on the right. And even as we scroll, so that Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 is no joke. I could only imagine how fast the Snapdragon Elite is going to be next year. Let's go into, all right, so let's head into Instagram here on both. And you can see it was a little faster, I think, on the left here. And you'll see the layout is different. So to go to the profile page, it's more in a tablet orientation there on the Samsung. But look how much more content, or how bigger it looks though. It definitely looks a lot larger. Got a little bit of choppy scrolling right there. But definitely you can see larger content, although iPhone's displaying a similar amount. Let's go ahead and go into X here on both and see what happens. And you'll see that was faster on the right. We'll go over here to profile. And that was, I think, faster on the left. Let's swipe up out of here. And let's take it over here to Amazon on both and see which one could do that faster. And surprisingly, it looked like it was the Samsung on the right. Let's head up out of here. Okay, so let's take it over here into YouTube. And what I want to do now is I want to go into the trending tab. So let's go over here to trending. And we'll go over here to trending. And you'll see what's trending. We already know what's trending, but pretty boring. I watched it, the highlights. So you'll see definitely as I scroll, it's not very different here. And I wonder how much more content it shows. Let's go over here. So you'll see, we can see the trending shorts down here, and we're missing out a little bit. So we're seeing more content being displayed on the Z Fold. So definitely the phone I would pick for media. Let's go into eBay. You'll see faster again on the right. So let's go into Groupon here on both. And we had a pop-up, but it looked like Samsung was loading it faster. Let's go into goods here. And you can see both of them doing pretty well. Although you can see much more content here once again on the Samsung Z Fold 6. So that's definitely a really nice experience when doing stuff like that. What about Best Buy here? Can we see more content here? And the answer is yes, we can. So definitely the iPhone, even though it's a big display, it feels more cramped compared to a foldable. Let's go into Jetpack Joyride, and the volume is blasting. Let me turn that down. We have the game mode enabling, and Apple wins this. So once again, Apple would have win on the launch, but I would rather play games on the Z Fold 6. It's just a better experience to me. No punch hole display. It's kind of under the screen. It also has huge display for seeing what you're doing. The Z Fold 6 is a better gaming experience in my opinion. Maybe not in terms of the performance. The iPhone might pull ahead, but it's just a better screen for doing the gaming. It's much larger, especially if you're playing games with maps and stuff like that. You need to see little details. You'll have more space here. So it looks like the iPhone won that one easily, unless we're getting a download. Nope. That one was an easy win to the iPhone. Let's go into Free Fire and we'll see what happens here. And Free Fire seems to be launching here first on the Z Fold 6. So on the Real Racing, we had a pretty big leap for the iPhone, but the Z Fold takes back the win only slightly here, but definitely does on Free Fire. And look at that. Look how much larger the character is there on the right. Let's go ahead and head up out of here. So let's go ahead and head into PUBG Mobile now. Now, PUBG does take a little bit more power to load, but overall, it should do just fine here on both of them, with the iPhone likely coming in the lead. When we start loading these heavier games, iPhone tends to pull ahead. But again, the question comes down to, do you want that extra speed or do you want the extra screen? Because it really comes down to that. Personally, with a game like PUBG, you know, it's a fun, immersive game. There's a lot more space to see things happening on the Z Fold 6. So I would pick that one personally. Let's go into Geekbench 6, and you see right there, that's going to go first on the right. Let's go into 3D Mark, and you'll see, I think that was the iPhone, and we'll head up out of there. You'll also see faster on the left and InShot to wrap it up on the Z Fold 6. So overall, I think a lot of the base apps, the animations look a little faster. They seem to launch a little faster on the Z Fold 6. As we pull ahead into some of the games, Apple tends to pull ahead, but the animations aren't quite as quick to me. on the iPhone, although they can tend to appear smoother sometimes or just a little bit more visually pleasing. Let's take a look at the RAM management now. All right, so let's go ahead and take a look at the RAM management, and you'll see very smooth here on the iPhone. As long as you click it correctly, it should be basically flawless here. No major issues. And you'll see, very good. This is 8 gigabytes of RAM. The Z Fold 6 has 12, although I think it should have had 16. This one should have had 12 at least. But still, it doesn't seem to matter too much. I think App Store was launching some content there. But you'll see overall, no big issues. Really, really nice performance. And the good thing about the iPhone is it tends to stay this way throughout the duration of your ownership. All right, and the Z Fold 6 is no slouch either, as you'll see right here. Also has really good animations. Very smooth. And the way I'm able to come out like that without a double swipe is good lock, home up. Well, you'll see right here, it comes out really smooth. And we'll go over to Groupon. And it looks like you have to be a little more precise though to get that click. You'll see it's holding everything very nice. Although the Z Fold 6 tends to take much better advantage of that extra RAM with the ability to have multiple applications open and using edge panels. I don't know where I put it. I think it's at the bottom. So you can have multiple windows open like this, and it just takes much better advantage if you want to multitask. And even with all this going on, like you could literally have all of this stuff going on, like 4 different apps at once. You can still swipe up out of here and apps, and see how I have this multi-window tray? I could still go back and those things will still be open. So that's how good the performance is here on the Z Fold 6. It's really, really good. You see even no reloads, even with all those triple apps open right there. So the final Geekbench scores are in, and we're looking at a win to the iPhone at 8242 on the multi and 3365. A pretty big win actually in Geekbench. This iPhone is benching kind of like an M series MacBook from a few years ago. So definitely very, very powerful. Let's take it over here to 3D Mark, and we're going to run the Wildlife Extreme test. We'll see what we get here on both of them. And I'm going to download that first, and I'll come back here with the results between both of these. And our final 3D Mark Wildlife Extreme scores are in, and this was a lot closer here. Only 6 FPS better on the iPhone, but still better on the iPhone. Scoring better than 80% of devices. Over here, the Samsung scoring better than 67% of devices in this benchmark with 18 FPS frame rate. So both of them will look very smooth in games. The iPhone might have a little bit of an edge there, but in terms of throttling, neither of them do that substantially. So both of them are going to be pretty good in the area of gaming. I think you'll be pretty happy with the experience of the Z Fold because of the larger screen, and I think you'll love the performance of the iPhone 16 Pro Max. So when it comes to editing video, I prefer to do it on the Samsung. It definitely has a bit more screen real estate to play around with, and you have the S Pen attachment if you get the case that holds it. But the iPhone has a really smooth iMovie software as well, as although I find the iPhone to pull ahead in that area most of the time. But there's a lot of third-party options as well, and you can do that task on both of these, but you'll probably want to do that on a computer anyway. So I want to wrap it up here. The iPhone is the technically more powerful chipset here. So the iPhone does take the win here overall. It is the faster phone. However, it doesn't really matter too much because the Z Fold 6, I use this on the daily as well. I don't notice any stuttering or anything serious that even makes me think that, oh, this phone needs more performance, but it's definitely going to get it next year, and probably a bigger redesign than ever before on the Z series, as Samsung just can't keep bringing the same design over and over again. This was a nice upgrade over the 5, but it's not like anything groundbreaking. So I think we're going to see a much faster chip with the 8 Elite next year, and I do think we're going to see a redesign or a bigger design change for the Z Fold 7. We'll see next year, but I still like this narrow display for it now feeling more usable, but also feeling easy to one hand. And I love the iPhone 16 Pro Max for being a powerhouse with beastly battery life, and this one definitely has the better battery life. So that's going to wrap it up here for me. Either way you go, I think you're going to be very happy with either of these phones. Thumbs up if you enjoyed it, subscribe if you haven't already, and I will catch you all in the next episode. Nick here. Be sure to be well, and peace.